quite a lot of things have happened since the last time we done an episode. Not too much in the way of Formula 1 and football, but a lot in the world of professional wrestling. We will go into professional wrestling first because last night there was some rather big news which the wrestling fan base is completely blowing out of proportion and to a level that I did not expect. So, CM Punk. He's back in WWE. No, he's not. No, CM Punk made an appearance on WWE Backstage, their new show on Fox. It's just like interviews with stars, just like a little bit like Match of the Day, I suppose, but for wrestling. But you know, a bit more American bravado and less actual highlights. So, in no way, shape, or form is CM Punk going to be wrestling or being on your screens on Monday night or Friday nights anytime soon. Everyone seems to think that that's what's happened. Everyone seems to think, oh, well, CM Punk's on Backstage for Fox. WWE must have signed him. No. John Cena and Gronkowski haven't signed with WWE, but they were on Backstage. Punk has been given a deal by Fox. He is signed with Fox. He is not signed with the WWE. He will be appearing on a WWE show, but he has not signed with them. And I can't even begin to stress the importance of that detail. Because there's already a war over the internet about it. People going, oh, well, he's going to be so good, we're finally going to get to see CM Punk back in the ring. It's like, where are you getting this? Where are you hearing that CM Punk is wrestling again? A man who adamantly says he doesn't want to wrestle. If CM Punk wanted to wrestle, he would have gone to AEW. No, that's a fact. That's not an opinion. If CM Punk wanted to wrestle that badly, he would have gone to AEW, who do quarterly pay-per-views. If you don't know what that means 4 pay-per-views a year. And only 1 weekly show a week, not a full house schedule like WWE has. So, if CM Punk was wrestling, he would not be with the WWE. And he wouldn't be with the WWE anyway, unless they paid him in excess of $20 million, which Punk has already said that, well, no one gets that as it is in the company, so it's very unlikely that they'll change their mind and actually pay him it. But this is all still just incredible. You know, it's incredible that just fans on the internet just blowing everything out of proportion all the time. And it's ridiculous. Like, I get that maybe sometimes my opinions and what I latch onto is overly negative and people go for the, well, you're just a negative fan, and I go, well, then how come I'm not negative about the NWA? How come I'm not negative about New Japan? Or Ring of Honor? Or AEW? And you can't use the argument I'm biased, because now there's only one company that's getting the shit end of the stick. Not one that's getting all the love and all of them are, oh, anything other than this is shit. Quite the opposite. I'm telling you that everything other than WWE is fucking awesome. Not to say WWE is shit, because here's the loop. At the end of the day, they are still the richest company, which means they can attract some pretty decent stars. And that's why you stay interested in WWE, because they've got good talent, they've got established names, they are a home name. You say the name WWE, who doesn't know? If you go up to someone and you say, do you watch WWE? When was the last time someone said, what's WWE? Everyone knows it. They just go, no, I'm not into wrestling. And then you start to mention some of the other names, AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, they go, well, that's not wrestling. Wrestling is WWE. As well, that's what the public think. So we've got all these fans who see CM Punk signing for WWE. He's going to wrestle. No, CM Punk is done with wrestling, and WWE were the ones that battered his love for the sport out of him. Right? They battered it out of him. If he's doing this show, you can almost guarantee he is only doing this show. Because as I just said, why would he wrestle for WWE? Because it's not like anything's changed schedule-wise. If he came back, he'd be asked to do the same thing. Even if he has to do part-time, he would be abused in that time. And if anything, he'd probably be buried in the process by Vince McMahon being like, well, you're not coming back just for nothing. And I don't know, you know, I just wish fans would stop. I wish they would stop getting angry about it. The only reason I'm angry is because of the defensive reaction you get when you tell these fans that they're wrong. You tell them they're wrong and they go, I'm not wrong. And then you think you are. But then, instead of, oh for God's sake, instead of defending their corner, they just go straight to the, well, fuck you, and they get all personal and stuff. And that's what you've got to deal with. So CM Punk, and if you don't believe me, then don't fucking listen to the stories, because this is the only truth you're going to hear on the matter. CM Punk has not signed with WWE. He just hasn't, and there's no way they've paid the amount that he asked for to sign. Which, by the way, is $25 million a year, which more than eclipses what anyone else on the roster's getting, including the likes of Lesnar. And is Punk worth that to Vince McMahon? No, he's not. Considering Vince likes to be in control of everything, could he really handle CM Punk paying him this much money and not being able to control him? No. The guys who Vince pays the most money to are the guys who are more willing to do the shit he wants them to do. Right? That's the way it works in the WWE. You're either a great ass kisser or you're a crap wrestler. In the eyes of the people, at least. So Punk, let's just put this to bed, right? Until we see Punk walk out on a show, right? We can't assume he will. And we can't keep waiting for him to, because we've waited too long. Everyone says it's only been 5 years since he left. Yes, but when he left, he was the age Kenny Omega is now. In fact, he might have been slightly older. Punk's in his 40s. If Punk comes back to the WWE, it wouldn't be for long, and I guarantee you his matches would be crap. He would get a great crowd reaction, and that would be the only way people could justify it being a good match. And that's what they do for Becky Lynch. Everyone tries to tell me Becky Lynch is the best female wrestler on the planet. Bullshit, she is. She's just the most over. She ain't the best. And CM Punk was the best in the world. But again, I'll say, when he was the best in the world, right, he was the best in the world because he was over as the best in the world, right? He was not the best wrestler in the world. So when he comes back, he's not going to set the world alight. You know, things aren't just going to drastically change and go, oh, CM Punk, he's better than he's ever been. No, it would be slow, it would be sluggish. He would try to incorporate his UFC stuff, and we're already going to have to painfully sit quietly whilst we watch Cain Velasquez do it, because he's not already been buried in a squash match. And just people, if you're a real fan of CM Punk, why the hell would you want him to go to a company with as many issues as WWE has right now? Sure, no company's perfect. I mean, at AEW there's already issues, but issues of the scale of the WWE, no. The WWE is a joke of itself, but when you are the biggest name in a sport, right, it's very easy to make a mockery out of yourself, because you set such unbelievably high standards in your peak that anything below that, people just go, are you serious? This is what you've got? You've had this, and now you've got this. And that's the mentality. So CM Punk, for the love of God, man, never wrestle again. And if you do wrestle, please make sure it's against someone who would make you look good, and don't just go in against one of these other superstars around about your age and we see another Blood Money Saudi Arabia Classic where one of you nearly dies in the ring. Let's try to avoid that. So, for all you fans that are wanting to see that, all I have to say is you don't care and you don't respect CM Punk if you believe he still belongs in the WWE. That would just prove to me that you just think about yourself. You just think you'll hear Cult of Personality, everything will be hunky-dory, nothing will change. And like I said, I'm here to tell you that absolutely that would not happen. It would be your worst nightmare. Well, that's not going to work. So how do I get over there? So, that was a good rant. But yeah, CM Punk not going to WWE. He is with Fox. And the only reason he is with Fox is because the show that he's on was expected to do so well because it's a WWE show, and not even 50,000 people watched it. That tells you about the situation WWE in right now. They couldn't even get 50,000 people to watch an information show with CM Punk, with John Cena on it, with Gronkowski on it. Unbelievable. You know, unbelievably poor stuff from WWE. And I get why Punk's there, but it's not going to make a difference. It's just to bring eyes to the product, but the fans know. And this is key. This is very key. One of the opinions that I've seen going around is that AEW fans will start to watch the WWE product more because CM Punk has returned. Again, I will say he's not back in a wrestling capacity, and even if he did come back in a wrestling capacity, right, he wouldn't be to the taste of AEW fans anyway. AEW fans are being treated to wrestling which is significantly better than even the best performances that Punk put on. Punk's best work came of Ring of Honor. Let's get that straight. CM Punk's best work came in Ring of Honor. Went to WWE. Vince didn't like him. Paul Heyman liked him. Here he is now. I don't know. I want to see CM Punk. I want to hear CM Punk. I want to watch a show with CM Punk on it, right? But if he shows up on Raw and SmackDown, that's not going to make me start watching it. Because, again, like I said, how underwhelming would it be? Especially considering the surprise has already been ruined, if he was to anyway. It's just a big hot mess. So, CM Punk, we're going to leave that little detail behind. Let's talk a little bit about AEW. Tiny bit about AEW. Not a lot has really happened since they did their recent pay-per-view, which was Full Gear. For those of you that don't know, Full Gear is it's interesting. It was an interesting pay-per-view. Again, split opinions because the internet's full of snowflakes. But I had to bring across a very basic argument to remind people why they had just seen what they'd just seen. And most of the pay-per-view everyone has just taken as a great pay-per-view, but a lot of people are still absolutely adamant that that main event, that hardcore match with Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega, was too much. And I completely disagree. It wasn't too much. The thing is, AEW is not competition with WWE. WWE thinks it's competition with AEW, but AEW does not believe it's competition with WWE. Right? This is important. So, This is my point, expect to see matches in AEW that you would never see in a WWE ring. You've got people going, this match takes wrestling 4 steps backward. It's in the wrong direction. This is going backwards in time. I was like, if you were in WWE, yes. Because what you've just displayed is the mentality of the WWE. Everything that they've moved on from, they claim to have graduated from. So that stuff that Mick Foley did where he nearly died with The Undertaker, apparently they're over that. They've moved past it. It's the past. It doesn't matter. No offense, Mr. Foley. But that is the mentality of the WWE. Right, we've graduated from it. They've graduated from that level of match. And maybe they have. But guess what? When you get guys who like to do it in the ring, they can put on a better hardcore match than your normal wrestlers can put on a normal wrestling match. Which is very true, because I was entertained by Moxley Omega, and I don't think I've been entertained by a WWE match since SummerSlam. And I can't even remember what sort of matches were on that card. Because it's just so boring. Like, seriously, WWE is it's so boring. It's not predictable in a bad way. Like, everyone said AEW is predictable. It's like, the only things that are predictable are good stories. Right? And the reason why it's predictable is because it's a good story. Right? People don't like to be mindfucked. They like a conclusion that they're expecting. WWE, I've explained to my friends, is a mindfuck. If you want to be mindfucked, you watch WWE. If you want to watch just nonsense, just a random promo, a random tag team, if you want to just see 2 guys have the same fight that they've had for the last 6 weeks in a row, you watch the WWE. That's also why CM Punk should never go back. AEW, they had Full Gear, controversial main event. Fantastic show. Great matches. Little bit of controversy afterwards in the stories that apparently there was a bit of a fight between Jimmy Havoc and Excalibur. Jimmy Havoc, of course, hardcore wrestler from the UK. Excalibur is the masked commentator of AEW. So, apparently, the rumors are that Excalibur was upset because there was a photo uploaded of him without his mask. The argument given was that, well, if you're that keen to make sure your face is never seen, then, you know, wear the mask in public. People have done that before. So, for whatever reason, Jimmy Havoc's involved, and he gets really angry about this, and he throws a punch at Excalibur. Excalibur dodges and chokes out Jimmy. Within seconds, though, Jimmy is back up. He is reconscious. He woke up so quickly, and he fired a proper punch right into the face of Excalibur. It's actually quite a nice punch if you see footage of it. He was escorted outside. He threw his phone off the wall, exploded into a gazillion little bits. And yeah, Excalibur and Jimmy Havoc apparently had a beef. They do not now. But that is as far as drama goes for AEW so far. Not to mention, of course, MJF. Cody's right-hand man, his protege, that little shit, proved to be more than just a little shit when he kicked Cody in the balls after costing him his title match. Let's remember, when Cody loses that title match, he is never getting a shot at the AEW title again. Now, it wasn't set in stone if this means as long as Jericho's the champion or if this means ever again. But Cody will not be winning that AEW world title belt soon. I was kind of hoping he would, because his dad had the history of having short title reigns, but it didn't matter because his character was defined. I just saw Cody maybe using that, because there is a lot of Dusty mannerisms and characteristics incorporated into Cody and Dustin's characters now that they're in AEW. Yeah, and I just wanted to see Cody as champion, and I'm not saying that that would have been a good thing, because Jericho is probably the best champion for the business, and I agree. But like I said, I would have given him the short run, Cody the short run, that is, and I would have just stuck the belt back on Jericho, make Jericho a 2-time World Heavyweight Champion, you know, have the Inner Circle be involved. Anyway, it's over now. It's over. Cody never gets a shot now. MJF kicked him in the nuts, as I said, after throwing in the towel. Absolutely perfection heel work. Like, absolutely perfect heel work from MJF. What I'll say to the critics saying that they pulled the trigger on this too soon is that this is not too soon if you've been paying attention to the story. If you've been paying attention for the story, this has nearly been a year of build-up to this point. And it was done in the right situation. You know, that's what I'll say. Hang on a sec. So where was I with that? Oh yeah. Yeah, MJF has been with Cody for ages. They've been teasing the proper heel turn. He was a heel with everyone else, but it wasn't a turn until he stopped protecting and looking out for Cody. Yeah, now we're here. MJF probably going to cut a promo. Cody is unfit to wrestle on Wednesday, so is Kenny Omega. So we're probably going to get quite a few. We're probably going to see quite a few different matches. On the basis that, yeah, just some of the more regular guys won't be available. It'll make for an interesting show. This Wednesday could be one of the best Dynamites we've seen for quite a while. But then again, we might see how important Cody and Kenny are to the viewing audience. Right. So we've got Dynamite coming up. We'll end on the note that SCU will be defending their tag titles against Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho tonight. We're also getting the third match, the proper rubber match between Pac and Hangman Page. We are also getting... I'm sure there was another match that was confirmed. It's not a match that's confirmed, but we know we're getting the angle of Christopher Daniels versus Pentagon Jr., which will be entertaining. You know, at very minimum, it's going to be a very good, solid, entertaining feud. Can't ask for too much more than what those guys would be able to give you. Wrestling's definitely an oh, actually, there is one last wrestling note that I should probably add, and that's that Marty Scurll from Ring of Honor, former member of the Elite, contract has not yet been renewed, and we know we know that it ends in November. So just let's look out for that. Marty Scurll might be in All Elite Wrestling fairly soon. Okay, so now we've had a chance to discuss the wrestling. It's time to discuss the football, my favorite sport. It's not really my favorite sport at the moment, though, I have to admit, because of VAR. Now, my issue is not with VAR. My issue's with the rules. VAR is very good at its job. It's very good. It's perfect at its job. It's a computer. Things are either right or wrong. But the thing is that a lot of the decisions need to be made based on a referee's opinion. And we have been having the VAR overturn decisions and overrule decisions and change decisions without the referee in the match looking himself. They're not checking the screens like they were in the Women's World Cup, like they were in the preliminary tests for VAR. The British referee seems to have I would say an overconfidence in their own abilities, and they're definitely over-insured of what is right and wrong in their minds, and it really is starting to be overemphasized with VAR. We're starting to see how difference of opinion can really change a foul, into a penalty for the other team, which is ridiculous, but we're starting to see stuff like this. And what I think is more ridiculous is the offside. Offsides become ridiculous. If you're running in line with a defender and your arm is offside, and bear in mind you're sprinting, right? You're running at full speed, right? So you have to have your arms out. You need those arms out to add the momentum, to add that extra speed, that extra thrust forward. If your arm's offside, then yeah, like I said, you're offside. But it's your arm. Your arm doesn't affect the play. Your legs aren't going to be any closer to where they need to be. I think it's incredible that can be given as offside. I mean, why would it be given as offside if it's your arm, right? Like people saying like that. Oh, it's like half a foot. Like his toes are offside. Then that's when you can complain about VAR, because that's when the camera is bringing it down to a millimeter. But when it's someone's goddamn arm, that's not offside. If someone's running their arms out, that's not offside. If someone's running in line and they go to kick the ball that's been passed in front of them and their leg is offside because they've gone to kick the ball, that is bullshit. And that's what VAR has done. So, is this a matter of referees not being assertive enough when they're on the pitch themselves? Or is this a matter of that the rules in general being enforced by VAR, so the rules are screwed up? Are they that bad? And honestly, yes. I mean, right now, can you really say anything other than yes? It's ridiculous. So, lots of negativity in WWE, lots of negativity in football. It is time for positivity, and the only real thing there is to be positive about, and at long last we can be positive about it, because the first half of the season was so boring. It was so boring. I was even yawning just thinking about it. First half of the season was so boring, but nevertheless, Formula One has recovered. Formula One is in a good position right now. They've been building for the next wave. The next wave of next generation cars in 2021. So next year's car is the last of generation. The engine is same. We believe. I mean, there'll be tweaks, but you know, the overall power unit, because their plan is to go fully zero carbon by 2030. You know, so should be fine up until then. I loved how people have been talking about, like, you know, it's not just all about natural energy. You know, fuel is needed, and a combustion engine is useful still, right? We don't just discard it. We can come up with other fuels to make them work as a compromise, you know? Anything can be done. Anything can be done. No one can tell someone where the limits of science can go, because we don't know. And there's no way to know. As long as the universe is ever growing, there's always room for the potential of something a little bit beyond our imagination to be possible. I think I just went a bit too deep with that, just talking about synthetic fuels. My bad, but yeah, Formula 1. So, 2021 is when they expect to have the new car, the new designs. So 2020 is the season we're focusing on, as this season has already come to a conclusion with Lewis Hamilton becoming a that's right, a six-time world champion. Only two men have won 6 or more, and that is Lewis Hamilton and Michael Schumacher. So eat your heart out, everyone else. Lewis Hamilton is one of the greatest of all time, which is pretty damn cool to say. Formula 1, it's been pretty good the last few races, a little bit more unpredictable, a bit more racy. And I mean, as if the racing's good, I don't mean that it's racist. Yeah, Formula 1 is worth checking out at the moment. It wasn't in the first half of the season, I will admit that. Right, I'm not going to lie about that. The first half of the season, it was only Mercedes winning. And when that happens, you're just like, ugh. Okay, yay. This is fun. Oh, look, a silver car's won. Oh, look, a silver car's won. Oh, look, a silver car's won. Big shot. Oh, look, a silver car's won. You get the image. It was boring. But when the Red Bulls stepped up, when the Ferraris finally started to find their feet, it's amazing how the season went, considering it was very obvious that the Ferraris had a better car. Charles was just really unexperienced. Seb used to be Mr. Consistent. God knows what's happened to Seb. But it's just, he's lost something, you know, an edge to him, a swagger. Vettel doesn't have a swagger. And it's worrying for him, and maybe a bit for Ferrari. But they won't worry about it for the rest of the year, because it's all over. Mercedes are the Constructors' Champions, and Mercedes have the Drivers' Championship. Another bad year for Ferrari, another perfect year for Mercedes. I think it's just incredible, though. Just how close, like, they want to be, but how far apart they really are. Like, we're seeing the front 6 drivers overlapping the last few cars a couple of times. Like lapping cars, so they're 2 laps down. It's like, wow, that's the golfing class. And you don't even think it's the drivers either. You think it's the cars, because everyone's go-to reaction. If it was a Ferrari, the reaction is, oh well, that's a Ferrari. And now it's become, oh well, it's a Mercedes. Or it works both ways like that. We'll see what happens next season. I'm not expecting any shocks. Lewis Hamilton's probably going to win it again. But is it worth it? That's a better question. Is it worth paying attention if Hamilton's just going to win it again? Yeah, because I think Max and Charles Leclerc are definitely worth watching. They're a different level. They're future world champions. Definitely worth paying attention for them. So, to sum up, WWE fans watch WWE and can tolerate WWE because it turns out that a majority of them are as stupid as they're treated. Sadly, I'm one of the British fans who aren't stupid as they treat us. So I am not excited about CM Punk, and I'm not gonna start watching Backstage just because a former wrestler is on it. I mean, John Cena was on it. He's a bigger deal than CM Punk. I didn't watch it when he was on it. I won't watch it anyway because I barely can stomach watching highlights from WWE shows. I couldn't watch Backstage, SmackDown, and Raw and NXT. I can't watch 8 hours of WWE a week. Do you have any idea what that would do to my IQ? It would butcher it. No. You gotta stick with the 10 minutes of WWE a week and the 3 hours actually in total of AEW. And that's all the wrestling you need. Maybe you can watch highlights of NXT. And I definitely recommend maybe tuning into New Japan and Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor, by the way, is available for free on Fight TV. Not a sponsor, just saying. That's how I watch my AEW, but that's how I also got into watching. Ring of Honor. So just, as I was saying, WWE fans, just calm the fuck down. AEW fans, just lighten the fuck up. Football fans, we've got to hang in there together till we sort this out, because it's going to be tough and it's going to be shit. And Formula 1 fans, 2021 will be very unpredictable. However, I think next season will be extremely predictable. But we will have to see. Thank you for joining us on the Sports Talk. There's a lot going on. When there's more going on, I will cover it.